Comes from Mona Sharon, National Review Online. Post-election poll found that voters preferred Romney 3 out of 4 on measures of leadership. On vision, he prevailed 54 to 45. On shares my values, he won 55 to 42. On strong leadership, 61 to 38. But on cares about the problems of people like me, Obama dominated 81 to 18. And that's exactly what this is all about. Because it's not about your record. It's not about 6.7% unemployment. Really, people disappearing from the workforce, 10.7% unemployment. No, it's really not about your record because we can unearth the numbers. We can look at the stats and look at the reality of them. It's not about growth, which is, in essence, half of what it has been out of past recessions. Go back, check out Reagan versus Obama. Great work by our good friend Peter Ferrara. No, it's not about that. It's not about the facts. It's not about policies, their impact, the results, and then changing them if they're not working. No, it's not about that because we're not going to change them. What we're going to do is we're going to go with the emotional message of people being victims, and the victim in 2014 and 2016, get ready for it because this is what it will be for Hillary on steroids. The victim class, women. They've always been a victim class. War on women. Yeah, that's what it comes from. I don't know how support for abortion is somehow not a war on women. It's a war on woman who's having the abortion. It's a war on woman who, the child inside the womb. But I digress. Let's go back to this. Here's an example. What do they need to sell this? They need a stat that says women are earning less than men, and therefore they're oppressed. Mika Brzezinski last week. Roll it.
Among the big topics at play in the race for governor in Texas is the issue of equal pay in the workplace. Equal pay in the workplace. You heard of that? I've heard of it. I've worked on it. Democratic candidate Wendy Davis is looking to attack her Republican opponent, Greg Abbott, for arguing against the Lilly Ledbetter Act as the state's attorney general. The law, which was signed by President Obama in 2009, expands the time that women have to file a lawsuit over pay discrimination because, of course, women get paid 77 cents for every dollar men earn for the same exact job. So it's something that needs to be rectified, obviously.
It's not true. It's not true. The Congressional Budget Office actually speaks to it not being true. You take into account the different factors of choice of job, background, time of work. And it's false. In fact, if you go to it, it's 95. It's up to 95%. 95 cents on the dollar, so 5 cents separating. Subjective, I guess, at a time when you're looking at stats. But it's simply not true. They keep using this. This is their push. Perhaps you think I'm making this stuff up. I give you President Obama, minimum wage. Again, tapping into 3% of the workforce. Half of the people earning minimum wage are teenagers or between 16 and 25, and they come from homes that are earning $45,000 to $55,000 a year or plus, pardon me. And yet we're focusing on them. Why? Because we've got to create a victim class, and that victim class must be addressed through greater government. Roll it.
But in a lot of ways, our economy hasn't caught up to this new reality yet. On average, a woman still earns just 77 cents for every dollar a man does. And too many women face outdated workplace policies that hold them back, which in turn holds back our families and our entire economy. A woman deserves to earn equal pay for equal work and paid leave that lets you take a day off to care for a sick child or parent. Congress needs to act on these priorities. And when women hold most lower wage jobs in America, Congress needs to raise the minimum wage, because no woman who works full-time should ever have to raise her children in poverty. Now, the good news is that in the year since I first called on Congress to raise the minimum wage, 6 states have passed laws to raise theirs. More states, counties, and cities are working to raise their minimum wages as we speak. Small businesses like St. Louis-based Pie Pizzeria are raising their wages too. not out of charity, but because it's good for business.
The fact is, if you look at minimum wage, Diana Furchtgott-Roth, former economist, chief economist to the Department of Labor, she writes, of the 5 states with the lowest unemployment rates, North Dakota, Nebraska, South Dakota, Utah, and Vermont, ranging from 2.6% in North Dakota to 4% in Vermont. Only one, by the way, what do you think it is? Do you think it's North Dakota? Only one has a minimum wage higher than the federal minimum wage. Okay, of the 5 states with the highest unemployment rates, ranging from 9.2% to 7.8% in Rhode Island, Michigan, respectively, all state minimum wage laws that are higher than the federal wage law, they have a higher unemployment rate. California's unemployment rate is 8.1%, the 4th highest unemployment rate in America. So the states with the highest unemployment, higher minimum wage than the federal law. Lowest the other way. We've already talked about the 500,000 from the CBO's number. We talked about the 500 business owners that would be asked about this and said they would cut back. And then when they went to specifics of the people that actually employed minimum wage workers, the statistic only grew, and we were starting at 70% of them cutting back. So why would you advance that type of policy? Roll it.
In this year of action, I've signed an executive order requiring federal contractors to pay their employees a fair wage of at least $10.10 an hour. But if we're truly going to reward the hard work of every American, Congress needs to join the rest of the country and pass a bill that would lift the federal minimum wage to $10.10 an hour. But if we're
Now he's asking you to call government to force states, business owners, to pay the minimum of $10.10 an hour over a 2.5 year period, is it? Does that sound like freedom? We know the consequences of this, less jobs. You talk about the ladder of the rung of getting on the ladder. This is entry level. We can go with the racial breakdown and how this impacts those that ostensibly is designed to help. Milton Friedman does a wonderful review of this with Phil Donahue. Why would they do this? Advance policies that do the exact opposite. Because they're counting on you not to know the truth. And because they know that you want to help people. If you want to help people, you don't give them solutions to do the exact opposite of what they're supposed to do and only exacerbate the problem. Brain Durham's nothing but truth. AFR Talk.